Toku Faithful. Well, you've probably been wondering where I've been for the past few months and where the next review is. Well, little problem. Yeah, I don't know where this thing came from or how it got on my wrist, but I can't find a key to get it off. Unless... Well, obviously I'm not going to do that. What's this? Hey, little guy. Don't I know you from somewhere? Oh God, not again. I'm back, baby. That's right, Toku Faithful. Another Easy Rider is here to chill you to the bone one more time. And yes, I have found a way to take over my other at will. And yes, it only happens during October, so no downside, really. I've hidden my ride watch somewhere. He'll never find it. But enough about sticking ride watches where the sun don't shine. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, to Tokuween. Many moons ago, I brought you the Q files, 28 to be exact, and through much grueling research, I have discovered 12 more. 12 more cases of the bizarre, the macabre, the downright weird. And now, I present them to you. This is Neo Ultra Q. Airing in 2013, Neo Ultra Q acts as a sequel to the original series Ultra Q from 1966. Although there is no direct connection to the original series, and there are none of the characters or kaiju from the original series in this new show, the formula remains the same. 3 people form a team to investigate strange aberrations, mysterious anomalies, and things that just defy human understanding. Rinse, repeat. Well, no turning back now. Let us dive into the Neo Q files. Are all kaiju evil? When you see a big monster stomping down Main Street, is your first thought to attack it, even though it has committed no acts of violence and is just walking? Well, that was the case for this big fella, Nirawani. Was he friend? Foe? Or was he just trying to get somewhere? Maybe his home. We see a no entry sign that will no doubt be there for a good reason if I know my horror cliches. We then see Gremlin from Wizard here on a date with this girl, and they come to a place called a vortex site, whatever that means. They spot a creepy janitor cleaning up the trail. Is this the part where he tells them to go back where they came from, like in most Friday the 13th movies? Okay, maybe they're not going to be that obvious. But it does seem they are lost in the woods.
怖っ。
気持ち悪い。
てか迷ってるでしょ。
うん。あっち駅だよ。
本当に。
なんか感じる。こっちだよ。
Oh no, it's the wind from the happening!
What? No!
Another onlooker asks the creepy janitor for help, but he just ignores her as he is praying to what looks like a shrine. Well, if I know my horror cliches, and I do, let us consult the checklist, shall we? Creepy forest, young couple, lost in the woods. I think we can all guess what's going to happen next. Or not. even. Damn it, series, you threw one too many cliches in at a time. Well, the storm scares the looky-loos away, but the groundskeeper seems unfazed. I wonder why. Luckily, the narrator is here to be as vague as possible.
平穏を求める人々の心を破って、それは突然現れた。そして、ゆっくりと北上していった。
We then cut to this guy who mentions he lost his family to a kaiju attack.
私は妻と息子を救えなかった自分が憎い。そして妻と息子を奪った怪獣が憎い。
Yeah, for some reason the subtitles keep calling them ogres, not kaiju. I think I know why, and I'll point it out later, but I'm just going to keep calling them kaiju because, well, damn it, that's what they are. The man asks his shrink here where he stands on kaiju. He tries to stay neutral on the topic, but the patient calls him out on it. It seems his doctor here is, well, for lack of a better term, a kaiju investigator, but his patient, named Kobayashi here, calls him a kaiju sympathizer. You know, it's easier to just call them a filthy hippie or a tree hugger.
灰原さん、あなたは一体どちらの味方ですか？
私はただ
こんなところに来た私がバカでしたね。あなたカウンセラーでしょう。怪獣保護協会にでも入った方がいいんじゃないんですか。
Later at this bar called The Door, these three have a conversation about kaiju and random occurrences. Apparently Mount Shasta, where the freaky janitor was, is a real tourist spot, but the storm scares them away. It's a sacred land, but the shrink here feels that it being a tourist hotspot is wrong and disrespectful. I agree. He also mentions that many other sacred places are being destroyed and left in ruins. Later, a professor discovers a huge sunspot with strange activity. It seems this is what has been causing the abnormal weather from before. Meanwhile, a kaiju strolls into town in this multiple camera shot that looks like something out of 24. This kaiju named Nirwani stomps into town. The head honcho here orders them not to open fire on it, but await further orders. Well, the shrink named Jin Habara does his best Egon Spengler impression and collects kaiju samples.
When somebody blows their nose and you want to keep it,
I'd like to analyze it.
The other two from the bar watch the report on TV and notice the kaiju isn't your run-of-the-mill smash-everything-in-sight kaiju. It's even obeying the traffic laws. Must be a Car Ranger fan, am I right? The cops fall back as it makes its way downtown. Unfortunately, the typical angry mob begins to stir it up.
はい、小林さんですか。
今日の予約キャンセルしてください。
わかりました。では予約はいつに回しましょうか。
いや、もう診察はいいんです。
何かあったんですか？
別に何も。
Jin returns to the bar and they ask what's going on. Jin then says what we're all thinking. The angry mob fears what it doesn't understand. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about these other two here as they're sort of a paranormal team of investigators with Jin. Shohei Shirayama, the bartender for The Door, and Emiko Watarase, a writer for a travel magazine. What? Oh, right. If I don't bring it up, the fans will get mad. Hello, Shinkin Pink, how you doing? They ask why the kaiju is here, and it's obviously not attacking anyone or anything. Jin surmises that it's probably trying to get somewhere, but he has no idea where, though. The others go to see a colleague who they think can help. Jin studies the sample he found and puts it on a map. The pieces from the kaiju move to a place on the map, Ryuga Mori. Meanwhile, we see, get this, a kaiju protest group, the Ogre Conservation Society. They actually protest the cruel treatment of kaiju. Great, a kaiju version of PETA, that's all we need. One of the angry mob actually hits the kaiju, which seems unfazed by all this conflict. Shohei and Emiko go to see Professor Yashima about the kaiju. He knows why they came, and he shows them the sunspot and why it may be connected to all this. He shows them an 8th century scroll which shows the kaiju in question, Nirawani. Jin comes in and knows where it's going. Every 1,000 years, one of them appears and he tells them it's headed for Ryuga Mori, the same place where all the weird storms happened. Jin discovers the cells are dying, so Nirawani is going there to die. So they decide to follow it there. Meanwhile, Nirawani gets closer to his destination and the agitators are getting more and more restless. Shohei and Emiko tell them what they are doing is wrong, but the angry mob isn't listening.
あいつが何したって言うんだ。
お前らもあのカルト団体の仲間か。怪獣の生存権は守るなんて言うんじゃねえだろうな。
そんなんじゃない。でもこんなの間違ってる。
間違ってるのはどっちだ。俺たちの命を脅かす怪獣だろうが。
おい、エミちゃん、何するんだ。
邪魔するからだろう。
Honestly, they're right. What has this thing done, actually, to warrant such hate? It hasn't attacked anyone, it hasn't killed or maimed anyone, it hasn't spit out anything atomic, so leave it alone. Don't mess with him, it won't mess with you. Leave him alone, he'll leave you alone. Simple as that. Don't poke the bear, or kaiju. But unfortunately, the cops are about to do just that and prepare a preemptive strike. This won't end well. But before they can, the creepy groundskeeper from before gets in the way. They pull him aside and open fire anyway.
射撃用意。撃て。撃て。
Well, it seemed to actually work for the first time in ever as the kaiju falls over. They attack it and we see Kobayashi, Jin's patient from before, strike the monster, blaming it for his family's death. Jin tells them to watch and see why he came back here. Nirwane then, is absorbed into a tree. Okay.
もう心配しないで。
ほら、元気出して。
僕たちはずーっと一緒だよ。
私たちはずっと一緒だから。
Suddenly the sunspot fades away and the groundskeeper returns to his cleanup duty. Jin comes back to pay his respects. The janitor asks Jin if he knows what it says, and it is indeed the story of Nirwane. He's finally home. Well, at least until the next one comes in 1,000 years.
ニルワニへ白雲のたまべく山を越えて木に蹴りでしょうか。
Good Samaritans are hard to come by nowadays. You know, people who do good deeds but not for any reward or exposure or clicks or likes or money. You know, people who just think it's the right thing to do. Virtue is its own reward, as the saying goes. But sometimes good deeds can be conceived as ill-timed, or just bad. But sometimes, just sometimes, the world can have too much of a good thing, as you'll see with this strange little creature, Brethren. Start out at a laundromat while the narrator is his usual cryptic self, again. Seems someone or something is in there. The customers can't fathom how this place gets their clothes so clean. Cleanest they've ever seen. No one else does it better. But it seems that someone has an ancient kaiju secret. Get it? Like that old commercial?
We need more Calgon. Ancient Chinese secret, huh?
God, I'm old. Emiko comes by and wants to ask how they do it, but she doesn't seem to get any answers from the owner. An elderly couple walk in and ring for service, and we finally see the proprietor of this laundromat.
なんじゃこりゃ。
Oof, Garamon has not aged well. No, this is Brethren, an obvious homage to Pigmon and Garamon from Ultraman and Ultra Q, respectively. The old man is untrustworthy, but he does hand his laundry over to this seemingly innocent-looking kaiju. Later we see Brethren walking around town shopping and collecting people's laundry to clean. The kids seem to like him, but come on, it's Japan, every kid there loves kaiju. It'd be weirder if they didn't. No one screams or even does a double take at the guy. Later we see how he cleans all that laundry. Everyone seems happy when they've collected their clean clothes. When offered compensation, though, he just up and leaves. Seems he's not doing this for the money. Later, that old man from before comes by to collect his clothes. He asked him to clean something else, and Brethren agrees. Later, Brethren also agrees to clean a bathhouse for some old people. Man, he's like a living kaiju scrubbing bubble.
We work hard, so you don't have to!
Some nosy kids enter the laundromat to spy on Brethren. They snoop around and accidentally spill soda all over those nice clean clothes. Uh-oh. When the old man comes back and he sees his laundry isn't clean and sticky with soda, he blames Brethren for what happened.
これは一体どういうことだあんたを信じて預けたのにこんなもの受け取れるかこんなもの二度と来ん
Oh, well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect! I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake!
The kids apologize for what they did. Well, bet you're not going to do that again, are you, you little snot-nosed brats? Brethren seems like one of the community, but he tries to shy away from rewards. An alien helping old people to feel young again? When did this become Cocoon? Brethren discovers the old man, Shiro, lost his wife recently. He comes over to visit while Shiro is grieving his loss. He tells him to leave, but Brethren reveals he cleaned the ruined clothing.
楽しみにしとったんだあんたにきれいにしてもらった洋服を着て旅行に行くんだとだが着ないまま行っちまったせめて天国で来てくれればと思ってそれを帰ってくれ
Shiro puts it over his late wife. We then see Shohei and Emiko. Oh, are they in this show too? She shows off and brags about how clean her old dress is. She shows him the Brethren cleaning, which is very well reputable. But here comes the big bad government to ruin everything. Like always. These suits introduce the Secretary General for the United Nations. He tries not to be too intimidating, and he says that he knows about Brethren's cleaning power. He tells them that the pollution has gotten out of hand. He wants Brethren to clean the Earth, the entire planet. The crowd is shocked, but Brethren agrees to cooperate. The kids even cheer him on. Meanwhile, Shiro becomes part of a support group, I'm guessing, as a way to cope with the loss of his wife. Good for him. Good he's seeking closure. Brethren gets ready to clean the entire Earth. What happened? Remo? What? Did it work? Did he clean everything? Did he inadvertently kill everyone on the planet? What? Everybody wants to be pretty. Everybody wants to be beautiful so they'll be accepted and loved and not be miserable or suicidal. But how far would you go to keep that beauty? Or to obtain it? Well, thanks to this character, Alien Volcanus, from the planet Volcanus, don't ask, one girl discovered that beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder. Emiko and Shohei watch a commercial featuring a beautiful young woman who seems, quote, way too beautiful to be human.
同じ人間とは思えない。
そうかな俺はエミちゃんの方がいいと思うけど Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Her name is Miki. Emiko gets an interview with Miki, and she seems very abrasive and avoids all the personal questions. She leaves and later looks at her reflection in the mirror, and something strange happens. Oof, broke a mirror, 7 years bad acting. Emiko sneaks into her dressing room, but Miki is gone. She finds a business card with the name Alien Vulcanus on it. The three of them go to the address on the card and finds this semi-rotting corpse and says it is Alien Vulcanus, aka Joji Hanea. Also, pointy ears, Vulcan, real original.
It's not a rip-off, it's a homage.
He says he came to Earth to do business. He has Miki frozen like a statue. It seems she signed a contract with him and now it's time to pay up. We then see how they met. He spots her hanging around the plastic surgery hospital, and that night she prepares to jump off a bridge before he stops her. He tells her not to do it as she is very beautiful.
ちょっと数分私にくれ。私は初めて見た。あなたのような美しい人間を。
バカにしてるんですか？
私はバカにしていない。あなたは本当に美しい。
醜いもんがいや仕事してる人間にかける言葉ですか？この顔のせいでどんな思いしてきたか知ってるんですか？世の中恋人も仕事も全部顔で決まるんですよ。この醜い顔のせいで子供の時からずっと死ぬまでこんな思いをするならもう。
Honey, take a good look at my face. You think any woman in her right mind is ever going to want to make out with this ugly mug? Compared to me, you're frickin' Angelina Jolie, alright? I've been there. I've been where you are. Depressed, even suicidal that I'll never be good enough for any woman, that I'll never look good, that I'll never be any woman's type. But it takes guts to live, not guts to kill yourself. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So instead of yeeting yourself off a bridge, like the kids say today, throw that goddamn Narutaki hat over the side and do the world a favor. Okay? He offers her a deal. He changes her appearance, and in return, she returns to his home planet to be sold to a collector. So he's an alien human trafficker? Gotta say, that's a new one. That's why you always read the fine print on contracts, ladies. Emiko offers to bring something more beautiful than Miki in exchange for her freedom. He even gives them a tracking device to find it. Well, that's convenient. They take the device to Professor Yashima, who discovers it measures negative energy. So they must find something with more negative energy than Miki had. Somehow. The prof makes a device that will not only track the negative energy, but also collect it. They use it on a nearby person, but it almost kills him. It accidentally turns him suicidal. So that ain't gonna work. Shohei gives back the juice they sucked out of him, and that fixes him. That's a relief. The two of them make a break for it. Alien Vulcanus is not happy that they returned empty-handed. He says the deal is off. Shohei begs him for one more day, but he refuses. Jin comes in and offers him a device that lets him collect the energy he craves. He agrees, and they leave. Jin reveals a new device Professor Yashima created for them that somehow sucks the negative energy out from the planet. I'm not even going to try and figure that one out. They put stakes in the ground like beacons and activate the machine. It seems to work and sucks up all the negative energy into a big jar. Vulcanus is overjoyed to see it when they bring it to him. Emiko asks if Miki can keep her new face, but Alien Vulcanus says that the contract is null and void and she will return to the way she used to look. Shohei is not happy about that.
I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Emiko and the others celebrate and even play games. Man, talk about mood whiplash. First it was all uber serious, now they're drinking and partying like they were lifelong friends? I mean, what the hell? Emiko is glad she saved Miki, who seems happy that she is free. In the morning, they discover that Miki chose to go to Vulcanus with him after all. Emiko is shocked to see that both of them are gone. So all that hard work for nothing. Bitch move, Miki. She decides to stay beautiful and take her chances on planet Vulcanus.
本当にいいのか？
地球って醜いものには辛い星よ。私がそうだったからわかるの。
バルカヌス星もそれは同じだ。
昔の自分に戻るの嫌。それよりは美しいままでいたいの。
なるほど。ともあれ私はいいビジネスができて嬉しい。
行きましょう。
We all have demons, some personal, some not so personal. It's important to keep it bottled up. Don't let that evil out, because no one truly knows what would happen if pure, unadulterated evil ran loose. Well, one demon named Mara was a being of pure evil, a manifestation of people's darkness. And one fateful night, he tried to convince some lost soul to do the unthinkable. A man wakes up in a cave. Not sure if he fell or how he got there, it's never really explained. He finds what looks like a manhole cover and opens it up a crack. Some smoke spews out and engulfs him. He then hears a strange voice speaking to him.
なぜだ？望んでいたはずだ。なぜだ？
He asks who it is and he reveals himself by lighting everything on fire. The man tries to get out and the strange voice asks why he didn't open the lid all the way.
なぜ戻す？なぜ蓋を開けないのだ？望んでいたのではなかったのか？
これは幻想だ。夢だ。
This strange being named Mara claims to be an embodiment of hate, animosity, and human vices. It says that some humans sealed it down here many, many years ago.
すべての悪意、憎悪、すべての無秩序、すべて本来の世界に満ちていたものの塊。ひとまずマーラーとでもしておいてもらおう。
I am evil. Evil existed long before good. I made myself. I cannot be unmade.
Mara continues to tempt the man into opening the lid entirely so it can be free. It seems only humans can open it. He can't open it himself. He asks Mara what will happen if he gets out entirely.
あんたが完全な姿になったらどうなる？
価値が変わる。善悪の境界などなくなる。この世界が本来の姿に戻る。
パンドラの箱だな。
I guess the name of the episode wasn't enough, so they decided to just come out and say what they're copying for this story. Meanwhile, at the bar, Jin is worried about a colleague of his who was supposed to meet him there. Seems Jin and his friend Kuroki went to the same school together. Jin says that Kuroki experimented on his girlfriend. No, not that way, you pervs. Kuroki was studying neuroscience. It seems he wanted to see if he could eliminate negative feelings and anger from the human mind. She offered to be a test subject, but something went awry and she fell into a coma. Back at the cave, Mara tries to deceive the trapped man, spoiler alert, that is Kuroki, with visions of his comatose girlfriend. Mara says that he can wake her up if he opens the lid, but Kuroki refuses. We then get a freaky moment that feels like something out of Silent Hill.
はるか、おい、出てこい。はるかを病院に戻せ。
彼女の立ち上がる姿を 見たくはないか。
黙れ。はるか元に戻る。俺が直してみせる。
残念ながらそれは無理だ。
出てこい。
蓋を開け。そうすれば彼女を直してやる。
黙れ。黙れ。黙れ。
私嬉しかった。大地がどれだけ私のことを愛してくれてたのか分かったもの。
Yumiko and Shohei get into an ethical debate about experimentation, and Jin breaks it up. Speaking of Jin, Mara takes on his appearance to again mess with Kuroki and get in his head. Ugh, get a hobby, will you? Leave the poor guy alone. God, you'd think an entity of pure evil would have something better to do. Kuroki almost falls for it, but he stops at the last second. Yumiko places something under a coffee mug and tells Shohei not to look at it. She and Jin leave to look for Kuroki, and Shohei is left wondering what's inside the mug. Kuroki mocks Mara, saying that it can do nothing but torture him with visions as it isn't whole. Mara cackles until the sun hits it, making it disappear. Kuroki is delighted that he knew that daylight would repel this evil creature. Yumiko hears voices and looks down in the cave. She calls out for someone, and Kuroki sees his girlfriend, who says she got better. She points at the lid and asks what it is. He tells her it should never be opened, ever. Kuroki's vision of his girlfriend says that no one can open it but him. He realizes he's the only one who can. Yumiko says if he needs to be saved. Kuroki finally opens the lid, releasing Mara, who engulfs the world.
そうだよな。
ねえ、おじさん聞いてる？
もう我慢できない。
Given the rise of artificial intelligence, and it actually is pretty scary how commonplace AI has become, there are some out there who still want to know, can artificial beings love? Can they care? Can they cry? Can they feel pity or remorse or fear? Well, one scientist was determined to find out with his creations, the epignoids. Yumiko questions an old lady about someone or something called epignoid. The lady says that someone she knew disappeared one day, just out of the blue, without a trace. He seemed to stay younger, but she got older. She doesn't know why it happened and where he went. We then get a flashback to the Wonder Twins. Well, that's what they look like, minus the monkey. Later, a man visits Jin. His name is Haruhiko. His father, who Jin knew, is Dr. Tadokoro. He created something called the epignoid. Yumiko does some research and discovers that 50 years ago he built humanoids. They were able to read human minds. It seems that mostly politicians and rich people wanted them as servants and lovers. Then one day, 5 years after they were introduced, they all disappeared one day, together. All of them returned to their creator, and he wanted to know why. But never mind that scene. The team comes into a town populated by, what else, epignoids. None of them talk. None of them utter a word. Shohei says he made a mistake and tells the others that he wants to change his order, but the waiter brings him what he was actually thinking about. Almost like he read his mind.
Get out of my head! Get out of my head!
Shohei begins to adopt to this life as a female servant rubs his shoulders and begins to bring him food and drink. Must be nice. Jin and Emiko visit the grave of Dr. Tadokoro. Shohei passes out after that massage. He's starting to think that these townspeople are not quite human. Boy, Shohei, nothing gets by you, does it? He also wonders why they don't talk. Jin lectures him on how communication is barely about talking at all and more about tone and body language.
変だなと思ってたんですよ。その理由が分かりました。声聞いてないんですよ。喋れないのかな。
翔平君。
翔平、こんな話がある。コミュニケーションにおける言語の割合はどれぐらいだと思う？
それは 100% でしょ。
それが違うんだ。わずか 7% らしい。残りの 38% は口調、55% は身振り手振り。コミュニケーションにおける言葉の役割は驚くほど少ないんだ。
そんなもんですかね。
Haruhiko shows Jin pictures about where his father lived and about two particular epignoids, Mary and Hashio. They bought the house and live with the others. Haruhiko instructs Jin to bring them back as they were the first two. They have batteries with a 50-year lifespan, but in 2 months they will run out and the two of them will die. Haruhiko wants to save them as they are his father's legacy, and he instructs Jin to go there and tell them to come back. Why he couldn't do this himself or just send a letter is anybody's guess. Shohei asks one of them to say something, but they won't. Shohei sees two of them together and puts the pieces together. The real reason the doctor made epignoids was to understand what true love is, to feel what others feel. He orders the two of them to fall in love, but it just can't be done that way. That's not how it works.
けれど博士のその実験はメリとハシオにとっては残酷なものだった。
どうして？
これは臨床心理士というより認知神経科学の研究者としての意見だ。考えてもみてほしい。男女の愛というのは分からないということを前提にしていないか。分からないからこそ愛し合うことができるんだ。相手の気持ちが分かってしまうメリとハシオの間には相手を思いやる気持ちは生まれても愛は決して生まれなかった。
The doc then gets upset and even ties them together. Jin says all the epignoids hated seeing the negativity in humanity, so they decided to live away from humanity, isolated.
でもすぐにでも連れて行かないと死んじゃうんだろ。そんなのダメだよ。
彼らは人じゃない。だから死ぬわけではない。
だけど。
And maybe it's for the best if they don't remain active. Well, that's the $64 million question. Is it better if they don't remain active, or should they? And eventually find out what emotions are. Jin asks Haruhiko how his father died, and he says he doesn't know. He just disappeared one day. But what if they killed him? What if his creations actually rebelled and killed him? Would he then want them to stay active after that?
でも私が復讐に人生を捧げると思いますか？
Eventually, Mary does speak. She says humans have to believe in something in order to live. It may not be true, but humans believe that anyway.
そして時に自分の都合のいいように事実を曲げてしまう。
何が言いたいの？
僕らは博士を殺めてはいない。
ほら、疑った。
だから何を言っても無駄なんです。人間は自分の信じたいことしか信じようとしない。
周りくどいわよ。やってないならやってないって言えばいいじゃない。
私はあなたのような人間が羨ましい。
Jin says they know what they want to do, but they have one last wish, a small wish.
わかりました。代わりに私たちの願いを聞いてください。私たちが何かを願うことはおこがましいかもしれません。でもささやかな願いです。
私たちは愛し合いたい。でもどうしてもできないのです。なぜできないのか答えは分かっています。
不完全ならばいいのです。相手の気持ちがわからないという能力をください。あなたたちのように。
分かった。田所さんに掛け合ってみるよ。
Jin agrees to tell Haruhiko what they said. So, in the end, their batteries give out, and they stop functioning. True actual friendship is rare today. A lot of times people will only befriend you for personal gain, i.e. what you can do for them. For example, this strange creature named Setagon helped an abandoned girl on an island once. And how did she return his kindness? Well, let's just say karma is vengeful. It's also a light sleeper. I gotta say, this one stinks. Emiko brags about getting a popular and rare perfume.
セーデカンヌ悲しい恋の香水
Jin notices that the scent is very unique. We then cut to this island where a girl named Yuki is washed up ashore. Oh god, if John Locke shows up, I'm out of here. Yuki has no idea how she got there, but she decides to gather her things and explore the island. Watch out, you're gonna run into the cast of Gilligan's Island coming the other way. She finds no one on the island or any clue as to where she is, so she acts accordingly, given a girl her age. She tries to get a fire going and she hears something nearby. Whatever it is, it reeks. Whatever it is, it reeks. She doesn't find whatever's making that terrible smell, but she does find some brush to get the fire going. It's almost like someone left that there for her. In the morning, she wakes up and discovers food, but she also smells that terrible smell again. The stench is coming from, what else, a giant monster.
何これ草何なの
Hey, be nice. Yuki runs and it follows her. She trips and gets a nasty scrape on her knee. It doesn't attack her, but it does seem to fix up her wound with its snot. Ugh, booger band-aids. Ugh.
痛くない。でも臭い。
Yuki is given food from a tree after the monster shakes it loose for her. Aw, he's friendly. Quiet now. She seems okay now after getting some food, but she still complains about the stench coming off that monster who just helped her and patched up her wound. Wow, what an ungrateful bitch. Would you leave its nose alone? Poor thing. Yuki tries to get it to bathe, but it refuses. It seems to be afraid of the water. They sit by the fire together and she hears him grunt his name.
何？わかんないよ。セーデガン？変な名前。
She says her name is Yuki. Sedagon even learns to say it. Over and over and over again.
そう。ゆうき。何度も言わなくていいよ。
The next morning, Yuki hears a boat. She tries to signal it and they spot her. She's excited and goes to tell Sedagon. Unfortunately, he's Sedagon.
あんたよく生きてたな。ああ。しかしあんたくっせえな。ああ。
Back at her place, Yuki discovers the scarf she had on her on the island actually smells good now. Real good. She takes the scarf to a scientist who discovers a substance on it that has never existed before. She returns to the island and Sedagon is waiting for her. She runs up to him saying she wants to share his essence. She then uses his, snot, or whatever it is on his nose, to make the popular perfume that Emiko bought. This stuff is in high demand, and Yuki becomes rich and powerful.
どれだけお金がかかっても構いません。この島が手に入れば。
しかし分かりませんね。どうしてこんな偏僻な場所の無人島を選ばれたんですか？
運命よ。
Liar! Liar! But unfortunately, the Japanese Self-Defense Force discovers Sedagon and thinks it could be dangerous, so they prepare an attack on the island. Okay, Remo, play the clip.
It's a monster! Kill it! Kill it!
Yuki rushes to the island to get them to stop the attack. She says he is not hostile and in fact very kind. I'm sure she's protecting it because it's her friend and in no way protecting her investment. Right? She tries to get in the way, but they don't listen and restrain her. They pull her aside and commence the attack. They open fire on poor Sedagon and he collapses. He's dead. Yuki runs over and cries at the loss of her savior. You'd think that's where we'd roll credits, but nope, we're not done yet. Yuki's assistants say that they must obtain more of the ingredient to make more perfume.
社長、また動産ですよ。原料の仕入れお願いしますね。
はーい。
Once again, we're about to see that just because something is big and looks menacing doesn't necessarily mean that it's here to do harm. In fact, some of the bigger specimens in the animal kingdom can do a lot of good for the earth. Case in point, Gastrobot. You'll see. And no, it's not a robot. We see a fishing boat and they spot something on sonar, but the captain says it's not a fish.
そいつはなんかきっと別のもんだ。
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
A girl is playing in a field while her drunk father comes looking for her. Oh, I don't like where this is going. He tells her to go to town and buy some more sake. Oh, thank God, it's just that. She walks along the beach and discovers something strange on the shore.
どこから来たの?
Meanwhile, Emiko, on a hiking trip with some friends, notice something strange. Emiko runs up and sees what they see. A giant shellfish. I don't know, maybe they're allergic. Who knows? Emiko, what else, snaps photos of it. She contacts Jin and Professor Yashima about this. They do research on this giant shellfish and discover it emits heat under certain conditions.
ただその条件というのがいまいちわからない。いろいろ試してみてはいるんだがね。
あの足、特徴的ですよね。
あれは硫化鉄に覆われている。
硫化鉄？そんなことがありえるんですか？
現にそうだ。この生物は体全体が高温に耐えうる組織に覆われている。
何のために？
Yashima refuses an invitation to join a major research team and continues experimenting on his own. The other professor, Fukuda, comes to the conclusion that the heat coming off these things are going to cause earthquakes and volcanoes as long as they are above ground. But they have a plan to freeze them all down and kill them to reduce the heat output. The little girl named Maya goes to see her new friend. Big shock, it's one of those giant shellfish. She promises to protect it no matter what.
大丈夫。私が守ってあげるから。
But Yashima discovers that these shellfish are not actually going to cause any natural disasters, as they're not giving off that much heat. Quite the contrary, actually, as they are absorbing the heat. Turns out Fukuda is wrong. In fact, these things come onto shore to absorb the heat and stop earthquakes from happening. But unfortunately, the gastropod death squad comes in to kill all the test subjects. Seems the operation to kill them all has started.
やめてください。ちょっとやめてくださいよ。これ以上立ち入り禁止です。ちょっと。なんだ君たちは。ちょっとやめ待て。ちょっと何してんだ。
科学省からガストロポットは一匹残らず駆除せよとの命令です。
先生、早くしろ。何やってんだ。
They go to wipe out a large group of these gastrobots, and our heroes show up to stop them, but unfortunately they're too late. The cops get in their way, and Yashima shows a letter of invitation, and then they let them in. They turn up the cold to kill them all, and Yashima tells them they're making a mistake, but Fukuda doesn't listen. They fight over the radio, and security drags the good guys away. Fukuda orders them to turn up the cold, and they manage to kill them all. Sadly, they keep killing more and more of them, and no one will listen to the truth. And wouldn't you know it, an earthquake actually happens. Well, hindsight is always 20/20, I guess. The drunk father from before looks for Maya, who is protecting her shellfish friend. She tries to bring seawater to it, but it begins to heat up. Unfortunately, she's too late. She says she's sorry for letting the poor thing die, but maybe all is not lost. What if you were meant for something greater? Something more? What if the life you had chosen was not exactly the one destiny had in mind for you? Well, when a stranger named Hata Gi Nord appeared and told an aspiring doctor the truth about his destiny, well, it would be a day he would never forget. Shohei is looking through his telescope and Emiko tells him to call it a night. He tries to spot a certain meteor. Emiko then spots one coming to Earth. Meanwhile, this stranger comes to the bar. Looks like a lost Mortal Kombat character. We then see these three weirdos get into a heavily choreographed fight. Again, you sure this isn't Mortal Kombat? It's obvious they are not human as they demonstrate certain powers. It seems they're here to find somebody who was reincarnated here on Earth. They locate where they are, and Mr. Mohawk here, named Hata, goes to find them. Meanwhile, a couple is having a little tiff. We'll come back to this later. Hata goes looking for his target, and he finds Shohei. He shakes him, waking him up, and tells him that he's from another planet. Shohei, of course, has a hard time believing this, as anyone would, and invites him in. He then begins to ask questions.
凝ってるね。すると、あれ？やっぱ UFO かなんかで？
UFO？
うん、だからどうやって地球に来たのかって。
ああ、それを伝えるのはまかりなりませんな。地球とギノールの科学力は雲泥の差。教えてはあなた方のためになりません。独力で到達なさいませ。
ケチだな。宇宙人ならもっと気前よ。
何をおっしゃいますか。ギノール人は寛大を通っております。それをケチだとは。
Yeah, real generous. Sure, buddy. Hata then makes gold appear as payment for the drink. Shohei is starting to think he's telling the truth. Wait, an alien that drinks a ton of water? You sure he's not one of those aliens from the faculty? He asks Shohei how to get to the university medical department. He goes there and waits for someone who he calls His Highness. The young man is naturally confused by this and runs. Hata goes to his classroom and tells him that the Pope on planet Ginor has died, and this young man named Koichi is the heir to the throne. He is reborn as the Pope.
全教皇はお命が尽き、大いなる意志が次なる入れ物に宿った。それが
なんだって言うんだよ。
ゲイか、お聞きください。いや、光一様。あなたは我がギノール正教皇の転生者。
Koichi again runs away from all this. Hata tells the others that he found the new pope, but he can't convince him to come back with him. He tells Shohei about the civil unrest on his planet, which all occurred after the pope passed away. Things are getting worse back on his home planet as these soldiers called leftists come down and try to stop Hata from succeeding. We then see Koichi is actually dreaming about his home planet. So it's true. He realizes that it may be real after all.
あながちおとぎ話じゃないってことか。
何のこと？
いや、なんでもない。
But he won't tell his girlfriend about this. It seems she's mad because he wants to leave and go to Darfur to help sick refugees.
私ついていけないかも。ダルフールだっけ？だいたいダルフールってどこって感じ。
スーダンだよ。
そもそもスーダンがわかんないわよ。
北アフリカ。難民は60万人を超えている。
お医者さんになったこうちゃんを待ってる人は日本にもたくさんいるわよ。
でも日本には俺以外にたくさん医者がいるだろ。
でも日本には私がいる。
行かなきゃいけないんだよ。
What a bitch.
どうしてかわかんないけど、なんか心の奥の方でそんな声がするんだよ。
Back at the bar, Shohei tells Emiko that Hata is an alien. She and Jin are fascinated by him. Shohei mentions he's actually 244 years old. He looks great for his age, I gotta say. Hata tells Shohei that he met Koichi, but he thinks he should let him work out his own problems and leave him be. Suddenly his spider sense picks up danger and he runs out. Koichi runs into his girl again one more time, but is soon attacked by the leftists. But Hata appears to protect him. He manages to save him, but gets fatally stabbed in the fight.
Hataさん。Hataさん。
皇子様。何卒立派な医師となり地球人をお救いください。皇一様の母性で死を迎えることができて私めは幸せにございます。
Hataさん、あんた本当にギノール人だったんだな。
翔平殿、ありがとう。
The next day, Shohei visits Koichi and shows him a hologram of Hata. Koichi says he doesn't believe in reincarnation, and yet he feels so sad about Hata dying.
輪廻とか信じてないんですけど、でもなんで悲しいんでしょうか。それが前世の記憶ってやつかもしれないな。
Koichi's girlfriend comes back to comfort him as he rests his head on her shoulder. It seems she's more forgiving and understanding now. Well, good. Glad they worked it out. What if the answer to all of Earth's problems just appeared one day, right out of the blue? We all know this planet is living on borrowed time. There's no getting around it. Greenhouse gases depleting the ozone layer, deforestation, oceans polluted. We all know the end is near. But then, along came these things, the piranhas, and seemingly fixed the problem. Or does it? Nations from all over the world are forced with a strict goal to reduce greenhouse gases, and countries that do not meet this goal will face sanctions. Needless to say, everybody is sweating like hogs. The agreement is called the Tokyo Protocol. We even see where it is the worst and where it is the greenest in Japan. Later, some kids play baseball while these two guys have a smoke. They complain that the Tokyo Protocol is destroying their livelihood since the smoke from the factory contributes to the problem. One of them worries he's going to lose his business to these restrictions. Some suits come in and they repossess all their equipment.
なんだ、あんたたち。裁判所から参りました。
ちょっと待ってくれよ、この突然。
債権者からの申し立てで仮差し押さえ命令が出た場合、債務者への信心は行われません。
何言ってるか分かんねえよ。子供もいるだろうがやめてくれよ。
続けてください。
おいおいおいおいおい、ちょっと。
Suddenly, the greenhouse gases in Tokyo go up to 99% and the power goes out. Japan narrowly makes the quota, but businesses and industries are suffering due to the restrictions. They need to find a way to reduce emissions somehow. The boy from before, named Hiroshi, and his dad have a catch. Hiroshi asks his dad if they are going to leave due to the creditors repossessing everything.
ヒロシ、本好きか？
好きだよ。
そうか。いっぱい本読んで、いっぱい勉強して。 どっかいいとこ就職してくれよ。ちっぽけな工場なんかじゃなくてよ。
お父さん。
なんだ。
うちも夜逃げするの？
Hiroshi then spots something odd and shows his dad. The suits wonder how to fix this problem. Suddenly they get a call about something. Hiroshi and his dad stare at these giant testicles that are sitting atop all the smokestacks all over Tokyo. They are dubbed piranhas, and it seems somehow these things are absorbing the emissions. How did they get there? Never explained.
突如現れたプラーナと呼ばれる怪獣の正体はまだ解明されていません。どんな被害をもたらすのか全く分かっておらず、政府は注意を呼びかけています。
温室効果ガス外況です。各地のパーセンテージはご覧のようになっています。東京都 10%、 失礼しました。東京都 10%、 高温室効果ガス警報は解除されました。
However, 1 month later they become bigger, scarier, uglier. The factory owner is glad because his business is booming right now. God, these things look like moldy Metroids. Another month passes and Japan's economy is thriving all thanks to the piranhas. Hiroshi's friend tells them that he got him a new glove, but he says he's happy with the one he already has. His friend, however, got all new everything. New glove, new hat, new suit, the works. They play catch and his friend brags about having everything he wants since the business his dad runs is doing so well. In fact, a lot of families are seeing rising profits. Hiroshi stares at the piranhas and his father says they can have anything they want for dinner because of the prosperity. I think the kid knows that something is up. Something ain't right. The government suits wonder if they can grow their own piranha and sell them to other countries looking to clean up their own air. Typical. Another month passes and a report on the news says that more pandas are being moved to the zoo. It seems this cleaner air is helping endangered species thrive as well. Hiroshi drags his father outside to see the piranhas. They're rotting. This is bad. Looks like they might have reached their limit. But the government says if there's no immediate danger, there should be nothing to worry about. Again, typical. Don't react until it's too late, whatever you do.
大変です。プラーナが
どうした？
巨大化し続け限界に達している模様です。
何か影響はあるのか？
いえ、ただいかにも危険な様子を呈しているので。
だから何か変わったことはあるのか？依然ガスは吸い続けてくれているんだろ？
はい。しかし何かあってからでは。
だから何かあるという確証はあるのかと聞いてる。
ありません。ただ有識者の見解によれば排除が妥当かと。
バカ野郎！今プラーナを排除したら東京プロトコルはどうなる？それこそ日本経済は破綻する。
One of them says they should wait and see what happens.
しばらく様子を見ませんか？そうだな。様子を見よう。
様子を見ましょ
I think that would be extraordinarily dangerous.
Hiroshi warns his father not to ignore this as the piranhas are glowing and pulsating.
Ah, みんな仕事仕事。ほら、仕事戻ろう。
逃げようよ。
はい、仕事仕事。
仕事なんてしてる場合じゃないよ。
仕事なんだ。仕事を辞めてどうやって生きていくんだ。仕方ないんだよ。あれは。
Oh man, those things look like they're ready to pop. And the second they do, be somewhere else. They emit some kind of smoke and seemingly stop. Then they explode. What the? Hey, they didn't explode at all. They became some kind of piranha plants. Nah, that sounds stupid.
ご覧ください。プラーナは私たちを見捨てませんでした。プラーナは見事花開きました。
プラーナが花のような形状に変化した模様です。政府の発表によりますと、直ちに環境への影響はないということです。
見てください、プラーナの花です。プラーナが綺麗な花になりました。ほんと綺麗ですね。
What the hell was that?
Ah, Falmagon. Falmagon here might look like any typical monster of the week you may see in any given toku, but he's quite the opposite. He lives in a junkyard and, such as it is, likes to repair things. One day he met a girl who was broken, mentally and very physically. That's when Falmagon here decided to fix something much harder to repair than any dime store bauble. We start in a junkyard, oh great, where we see this strange creature. This thing looks like the love child of the Rockbiter and Treebeard.
I'm Groot.
We see a girl named Michiru who watches her friends do track and field, and we find out that she was on the team once, and due to an injury, she will never walk again. Jin thinks the girl is in a state of denial, though. Maybe she can walk again. Michiru was a rising track star before her injury happened. She waves to somebody on the team who either doesn't see her or just ignores her.
走ろう。お前早く良くなれよ。 待ってからな、おい。
She takes a nasty spill out of her chair, though. The kaiju from before, named Falmagon, approaches her. Instead of, screaming out in terror, she tells him not to help her, but he does anyway. Most girls would scream bloody murder when they see a kaiju. She must really be depressed. He then, unslices her lemon for her. She's amazed that he has special powers like that. Well, sort of. He does try to fix a charm of hers that broke, but he doesn't get it quite right.
Satsuki. ごめんなさい。練習が足らないんだよ。練習。
He goes back to the junkyard and practices fixing things like she said. Michiru has a therapy session with Jin, who tries to reassure her, but she isn't listening. She leaves, but it seems they are not alone.
時間は君に味方する。必ず。
いい加減なこと言わないでよ。
Falmagon meets Michiru again and shows her that he can fix her charm. The right way this time.
Sugoi! じゃあ今度約束の蜂蜜レモン持ってくるね。ありがとう。
Later, Michiru sees Yuma, her love interest. She tells him that she's getting therapy and that she'll be back soon. But another girl that he's with, oh crap, I think we know where this is going.
はい。みちる、いい加減に現実見なよ。みちるの足はね。
大丈夫。ユーマだって治るって言ってくれたよ。ね、治ったらまた一緒に練習頑張ろうね。ユーマくん、そういうのって逆に残酷。
だってさ、なんかかわいそうかなって。
ちゃんと言ってあげた方がいいって。
そうかな。
そうだって。
あのさ、みちる。
Wow, he didn't even have to say it. She just knew and left. Jeez, man, why don't you rip out her heart and show it to her while you're at it? Jin finds Falmagon somehow and tells him that he's not helping Michiru. Seems Jin somehow knows what happens every time he fixes something. Looks like there are indeed consequences when he does that.
君の存在はみちるちゃんにとってあまりにも悪影響なんだ。君にとってもとても危険なんじゃないかな。ファルマが壊れたものを直し続けた先に何があるのかな。
Michiru's mother comes to Jin and says she can't find her anywhere. Turns out she went to see Falmagon. He tries to cheer her up, but it backfires.
何のつもり？
酸っぱい、甘い、甘酸っぱい、おいしい。みちる、甘い。みちる、甘い。
お説教。怪獣に説教なんかされたくない。何なの？私はこの人たちみたい マが私じゃないってことも、足が治らないことも。
Falmagon tries to comfort her as best he can. He says he can fix her legs. She says it will never happen, but he goes to try anyway.
みちる、笑う。
無理だよ、どうせ。
練習超える。
Jin runs to the junkyard and sees Falmagon glowing and crackling with energy. Suddenly, he implodes. Well, it works, and Michiru is walking again. She looks for Falmagon, and Jin is there to tell her. She tells Jin that Falmagon's the only one who encouraged her throughout her injury.
これも食べさせる約束だし。
みちるちゃんはファルマガンのことを気持ち悪がったり怖がったりはしないんだね。
ファルマガンだけが私を叱ってくれたんだ。ファルマガンとは心が通じたの。心がつながってたら見た目は関係ないでしょ。
その言葉をファルマガンが聞いたらきっと喜んだだろうな。
どういうこと？ファルマガンどこにいるの？ねえ先生！
ファルマガンの能力は壊れたものを直すことだ。おそらく相当なエネルギーが必要だったんだと思う。
あいつ自分の命と引き換えに私の足を？
ファルマガンが悲しむよ。
Jin says that she has a bright future ahead, so she decides to make the best of it. So Michiru decides to return to the track team. You got a second chance, kid. Don't waste it. What if we were forced to choose who lives, who dies? What are the ethical dilemmas of such a thing? Why must we keep using this outdated method of doing things, even when we know it's not the most appealing of ways, but we must keep doing it as it's the only way we know? Well, then a being from another world named Argos came one day and decided to put humanity to the ultimate test. Will they make the right choice? Or is Argos right, and the system is indeed well and truly flawed? We start this one in the middle of a hostage situation. Armed men surround the hostages. One of them turns out to be Emiko. The cops are outside the building looking to make their move. Looks like we have a standoff. The leader of this gang of thugs tells the cops if they don't meet their demands, someone will die every 10 minutes. And he also tells them to lose the riot squad.
すいません。中の様子どうなんですか？エミちゃん大丈夫なんですか？
渡良瀬恵美子という女性が人質の中にいるんです。
ご安心ください。人質は必ず助け出しますから。
We then flash back to earlier in the day. A woman who lost her loved ones to a kaiju is calling for a special measures law to be passed to deal with them. Emiko objects to this claim that all kaiju are bad. She even shows pictures of ones that were not threats at all. Piranha, Brethren, and Nirwane. No one listens though, and they go to throw her out. Then the gunmen bust in, quickly taking everyone as hostages. What are they, thieves, radicals, terrorists?
What kind of terrorists are you?
Who said we were terrorists?
Turns out they are not terrorists, but rather freedom fighters. Well, that's a subjective term.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
They want a law passed that prevents kaiju from being harmed. Oh, so maybe they are radicals. They want all countermeasures against kaiju struck down too. Emiko says that she doesn't believe that all kaiju are a threat, but she doesn't agree that this is the right way to do it either. The congresswoman, Karasawa, the one that was speaking earlier, says she's talking crazy, but the gang leader agrees with Emiko.
ごめんなさい。お気になさらないで、この子ちょっと気が動転してるんです。
からさ、貴様にこの女ほどの覚悟があればな、選挙のためだけに聞こえのいい公約を口にする。議員になったら立派な主張もどこへやらだ。こんな害虫みたいなやつ生かしておく必要はない。そうは思わないか。
人間なら傷つけてもいいの？あなたの主張と矛盾してる。
あんた名前は？
恵美子。渡良瀬恵美子よ。
恵美子さん、時には実力行使しなければ社会は変わらない。それは歴史が証明してる。
Shohei tries to sneak inside to rescue Emiko while Jin and the others spot something appear in the sky. Shohei barges in and one of the gunmen aim at him. He tells them he's not a cop and he just wants to know if the hostages are safe. One of the other gunmen spots Shohei and opens fire on him. But this strange object in the sky shields the building, stopping the bullet.
Some kind of invisible barrier.
Oh, so that's what the invisible barrier looks like.
This giant orb speaks. Its name is Argos. It is fascinated by humankind and it has been listening to their conversations. Argos wants to conduct an experiment about democracy. The citizens must vote on who dies. If they don't, Argos will... well, watch.
私はこのアルゴスウォールの中の者たちを殺そうと思う。ただし、反対の場合、君たちの首相を殺す。全国民に向け投票を行ってほしい。テロリストと人質の命か、それとも内閣総理大臣の命か、どちらかを選びたまえ。くれぐれも実行していただきたい。もし実行されない場合は。
That. He'll do that. The gunmen panic and wonder what to do now. So the people vote and they wait for the votes to be counted. The gunmen move the hostages downstairs as Shohei tries to get through the police line. Jin yells at Argos to listen to him. He says he will explain democracy and Argos listens.
なんだ。
民主主義は不完全なイデオロギーだ。国民全員が知的で理性的であることを前提にしか成り立たない。何やってんだ。やめろ。やめなさい。話せ。僕はアルゴスと対話がしたい。手をこまないているだけじゃダメなんだ。やめなさい。
聞こう。君に何がわかるというのかね。
恐怖に支配された民主主義を修復政治というんだ。話せ。
つまり君は国民というものを信じていないと。
民衆の扇動ほど恐ろしいものはない。
ではなぜデモクラシーに固執する。
それに代わるものを人間はまだ見つけ出していないからだ。たとえ欠陥があったとしても今ある一番優れているものを使うことしか人間にはできない。
Cops try to shut him up, but Argos tells Jin to continue. Argos says that's why he's doing this experiment. Said experiment may force humankind to initiate a new form of thinking, a new idea, a better way. They argue some more and the voting is over, and the choice will be made. Jin tells Argos not to use humans as his personal lab rats. Seems the votes are all tallied and the result is the people can leave. Everybody runs out of the building free to go and our three friends reunite.
私が用意した遊びはお気に召したかな、相原君。
遊び？
また どこかで会おう。
Emiko wonders what Argos was trying to prove. Jin thinks it wanted to test humanity by going to extreme measures. Shohei joins them with food and drink. The three of them celebrate, I'm not sure what they're celebrating. Shohei even returns Emiko's fountain pen to her. Shohei asks if Jin thinks democracy is good or not. And the last line is just about perfect.
ペンは剣よりも強い。
And here we are, the final case file. We all do what we can to keep death at bay. Medicine, exercise, eat right, clean living. But sooner or later, it's inevitable. Death comes for us all. Your clock runs out. But what if there was a way to slow that clock down? What if you could live well past your expiration date? Meet Soma. This little bugger here could do just that. Prolong your life. But is it worth it? One little girl didn't seem to think so. Unfortunately for her, the decision was not hers to make. An archaeologist discovers a strange insectoid living inside a rock. Meanwhile, Jin is arguing with someone. The person he's arguing with actually came to him for help with something. Meanwhile, in a Pearl Jam music video, we see kids doing schoolwork. And, big surprise, looks like these kids are all test subjects. Seems the insectoid we saw earlier is actually a parasite. This one has a unique ability, to rewrite cellular life. It allows the host it attaches to stop aging and increases their lifespan. The species was immediately cloned and named Soma. With this Soma attached to them, humans can now live up to 144 years. However, the Soma can only be planted on certain humans. Not just anyone can have one. Hence the kitty lab rats. Gifted and talented ones, if you will. One of these lab rats asks, why them?
どうして私たちなんですか？やめなよ、ヒカル。
It seems the ones with the highest IQ and no genetic defects are chosen, and must be in excellent human condition. This is starting to sound more and more like Parts the Clonus horror. Either that or Soldier. The ones who are accepted by Soma will then devote their lives to their country. Yes, let's all be good little automaton droids and fall in line to serve our country. One girl named Yuri desires freedom. She doesn't want to be a guinea pig for the rest of her life. She and another girl named Hikaru form an alliance, an anti-Soma alliance, together. One night she tries to escape and they catch her. The next morning the teacher warns the other students not to pull a trick like that themselves, or else.
どう？毎日反省部。あと薬もたくさん飲まされる。
ノート返しに来ただけでしょ。
すいません、もう少し。マキ君は嫌われたかな？
ううん、心配してたよ。
そっか。ねえヒカル、同盟はまだ続いてるよね？
もちろん。
ヒカル、なんか私息してる感じしないんだ。
出られるといいね。
Later she sees that Yuri got out, but she doesn't seem herself. She seems different. Almost like she was brainwashed.
ユリ、よかったね。ユリ、答えてよ。
列を乱さないで。
ユリ、同盟は？
同盟？
Hikaru can't believe what they did to her friend, and she's seen enough. No, Hikaru, honey, no, no. Oh, actually, she was making a little hook to remove the Soma from her back. Yee, ouch!
That, my friends, is gonna leave a mark.
Jin visits the compound as one of the scientists tell him about Hikaru and to correct her mind. Seems removing a soma is a serious crime. Okay, that went well. Jin tries again, this time in her room. I feel like this is going to be as one-sided as Dr. Loomis speaking to Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Jin says that she won't talk to him with all the teachers and the staff hovering over them. The boss actually agrees and Jin tries to talk to her again. The headmaster, of course, watches on hidden camera because, duh, evil. He does agree to let Jin take Hikaru to his place for a bit for another session. Now she seems more open to talking. She asks Jin to read her favorite storybook to her.
ある日、森に忘れられた子供を母さんウサギが見つけました。母さんウサギは手を取って急いで家へ帰ります。母さんウサギは服を縫いました。この服を着れば森に住むウサギ。
Aw, she's all tuckered out. The boss then later comes back to take her back to the institution. He plans to fuse the soma to her spinal cord, preventing her from removing it or trying to escape again. Oh my god, that's sick! Jin seems reluctant to do that, but they plan to go through the operation anyway, so he takes her back. Thankfully, Jin, being awesome, comes to save her. Jin seems to know an awful lot about this soma because...
君にそんな思いはさせない。
He has a soma too! Jin sneaks her out in typical Three Stooges style. Emiko and Shohei are waiting in a getaway car. Later, at a carousel of all places. Oh good, more spooky settings. Hikaru confides in Jin.
よかった。本当だった。
何のこと？
私、ゆりに外は自由だよって言ったんだ。
うん。
お父さんに教えてもらったんだよって。でも、自信がなかった。
どうして？お父さんのことを。
信じてるよ。でも、ずっと自由っていうのが分からなかったから。今なら分かる気がする。
And now, it seems Hikaru is truly free. Or is she?
「僕は決めた。君にそんな思いはさせない。
Wait, what? Now, I'm serious, folks. I did not edit it like that. What just happened? Was that whole rescue and carousel part a dream, or what? Great. A double twist ending. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, both M. Night Shyamalan and David Lynch in the same room together on Quaaludes couldn't have come up with a more convoluted twist ending. Just... wow. Just... I'm impressed. I'm impressed at how mind-boggling that ending is. Just...
What? How? Why? I have so many questions!
Not that the series is bad, far from it. Some of the stories are very well written. One major problem is that there are very few kaiju in this show. You know, which is the whole franchise's bread and butter, its claim to fame. Ultra Q practically kicked off the kaiju craze of the 60s. We wouldn't be where we are without Ultra Q starting that. Now, there are a few kaiju here and there, but none of them are really as threatening as the ones before, as many episodes try to imply as such. That the kaiju aren't really bad, that ethical dilemma. Are kaiju bad? Are kaiju good? Etc., etc. Another problem I have is that this show's endings just sort of petered out or didn't make a lick of sense. Now, I know the original series did that too. I covered it. Some of the endings of those episodes were left very ambiguous too. But this one cranks the WTF factor to 11. Also, our main characters don't really do much, except for Jin. Things just seem to come Jin's way because he has paranormal patient problems. Nothing really happens to them, per se, until the end. Emiko at least goes looking for stories, and Shohei is just glorified comedy relief, and not a very good one at that. As I've said before, many of the show's plots are thought-provoking. They make you think twice. But there's also many moral gray areas this show explores, and that's the best way to do subtext. Don't beat your viewers over the head with the message, and thankfully this show doesn't do that. The CG effects held up extremely well. Even some of the practical effects, which to be fair are scarce in this show, also look great. Bottom line, is it a worthy successor to Ultra Q in tone and setting? Yes. But if you're looking for non-stop kaiju action, like in Ultra Q or even the original Ultraman series, you'd best look someplace else. Decide for yourself if you want to put this in your queue. See what I did there? Well, there you have it. The Neo Q files in a nutshell. Legend has it that there are more case files out there waiting to be discovered. One's involving something called a dark fantasy. Is it real? Is it a hoax? Will it legally be available for me to talk about one day? Time will tell. Happy Halloween, Toku Faithful. Thanks for tuning in one more time. I'm another Easy Rider reminding you to open that door and reclaim the lost eternity. See you next year.
ゲイか初めてお目にかかります。挨拶略式にて恐れ入ります。ただいま一刻も早く私めと同道していただきとうございます。詳しくは道々申し上げます。お命危のうございますゆえ。さあ。ゲイかゲイかお願い申し上げます。何とぞ私めと。